Welcome back to another episode of Mind, Your Body, and Soul. I am Joseph Ward, the outreach specialist and health educator here at Neighborhood Medical Center. And we use these platforms to reach our audiences, reach broader audiences, but furthermore, educate our community on not only the resources that are in our community, but the people behind the resources in our community. Because it's always good to connect a face to a name to a resource, so it make it easier for people to find. And today is no exception. Today's guest is somebody that I've known practically my whole life, and she's using her skill sets, her talents, and her passion to give back to the Tallahassee community and communities beyond Tallahassee. She is the founder of Melanin Mothers Meet, or M3. And M3 was birthed out of confidence, an example of a melanin mother warrior thinking ahead for our children, our community, and our nation. Relearning how to love ourselves so that we can raise sons and daughters who will not have to do the same. As melanin women, we have to start holding ourselves accountable, no longer depending on others to come to our rescue. We will rescue ourselves, therefore rescuing our nation. And those are powerful words coming from a powerful woman doing a powerful mission in our community. So I'd like to welcome Miss Mama Yata, Trishay Young to our podcast. Welcome, 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 welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. It feels great to be here. I think this is our second round of interviewing, so it's good to see you again, cuz.
Yes. I mean, it's always good to see you. Always good to talk about what you have going on in the community because you're one of the people who are out boots on the ground, grassroots level, who are making sure that you are connecting the different people in our community who can actually help make a difference and make it better for our children and create better atmospheres and environments. So, thank you for what you do for our community.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem, no problem. I'm excited about this because we get a chance for my audience to learn more about you. Because I don't think a lot of people may know, or my audience may know about Melanin Mothers Meet, but this is a chance for them to learn and to be able to understand that there's a, a resource in our community that you need to tap into.
That's
Because
great.
there are a lot of people who can use your services. So I'm glad that we're doing this. So,
Thank you.
so before we kind of jump into like the bulk of the conversation, let's start with some background information about yourself for those who don't know you. You introduce yourself, a little information about you, and what led to you creating Melanin Mothers Meet.
Oh, yes. Well, Melanin Mothers Meet was, again, birthed out of confidence. However, when I had my daughter and my husband at the time, I realized that I was going to need a little more help than just him and maybe just my parents, but maybe a team. And I was able to experience what that could look like for Black women in our community through my work that I did at Beauty of Sarab, which was a salon next to Soul Vegetarian Restaurant. I don't know if you remember when
Right.
Soul Veg was
Yes.
around. And I
Yes.
worked in the salon next door for about 8 years.
Okay.
And I got to witness so much greatness and learn and pick up so much. And one of the things that I learned was that when women had children in that Hebrew community, the other women in the family, whether they were sister wives or they were just other women in the family, they would step up and make sure that the mom was taken care of, the other children were taken care of, and it was just without hesitation.
Right.
And I was like, well, this is what we need, out here in our community. So I had an interest meeting for it in 2016, in August of 2016. And we got on the ground in 2017, February, I believe, is when I had my first breastfeeding panel at
Hmm.
the Perry Page Auditorium. So ever since then, we just kind of been moving and shaking. So, but Melanin Mothers Meet is a resource for Black women and families to come to, whether they are having stress or depressed, anxiety challenges, or they lack community support. And we're able to connect them with other community resources. So even if it's something
Right.
that's, extensive of M3, we have a resource that we can send them to as well. So
Got it. Gotcha. And your background growing up in Tallahassee. Uh, I know you told us about when you were married, but are there any aspects of your background growing up in Tallahassee that were also conduits to making sure that Melanin Mothers Meet became a reality?
Well, yeah, I'd always wanted to be an obstetrician.
Okay.
So growing up, that was something that I always wanted to do. No, I am not an obstetrician today. When I went and I saw how much work needed to be done in the school system in order to get that degree, by the time I graduated from Florida A&M University with my bachelor's in psychology and social work, I double majored. I saw that the need for me was to go out in the community, and then I'll meet my college friends and everyone who did go and further their education. I'll meet them at the end so we can talk about how
Right.
we can connect what they learned and what I learned as a
Right.
experience in the field and experience in the on the collegiate level, and how we can
Gotcha.
put that together to communicate the needs to funders in order for us to get I guess, the monies needed to be able to help and assist the moms in the community.
Gotcha. Okay, so your interest in health from an early from an early age, your background working in the salon because you also are. If y'all don't know, if you want your scalp treatment, get your scalp treatment right. Holla at her
Yes,
as well.
yes. I'm the scalp nutritionist.
There
Yes.
you go.
And those are three parts that I offer within Melanin Mothers Meet.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I have the postpartum hair loss. So moms usually, have a challenge when it comes to hair loss during or after they have a baby. So I help with that. I'm also an herbalist, assisting moms and others with any scalp issues or challenges, and also helping them to be more scalp sufficient. So it's
Gotcha.
really just all about the sufficiency of self.
Got. And I love that because it goes into the next question I want to ask about your approach to supporting women of color during the birthing process or before the birthing process and postpartum journey. How does your support system differ from the traditional support systems or other support systems that Black women may have or not have had access to?
So it's really simple. I believe that we're very down to earth and we are sisters. So, not the fake empowerment trend that's going on, right? But just really, this is a space for you to tell it all in. You won't be judged, and we're going to assist you. So we're not judging your house when we come
Right,
over to help you clean it up, or we're not judging you, about the foods that you may have eaten or anything. We just want to encourage you to eat as best as you can, specifically when you just had a baby, as well as just even along the lines of going back into who you were before you had the baby. And foods and diet has a big role in how we interact with ourselves and how we
right,
interact with others.
right, right. Okay, so that's a better understanding of me because so you all are literally pulling up on people and helping them.
I mean, yeah, that's
That's
really
good.
have been the trajectory of Melanin Mothers Meet for quite some time.
Right,
And a lot of times, with Black women, there are um, things that we have to kind of go through, checkpoints that we have to check off, because Black women are usually, they don't want to be bothered,
right.
So you have to be creative with how you approach, because we're not used to that type of assistance, especially just from, random people in the community. They're not used
Exactly.
to people coming up to them and saying, hey, I brought you some food, just because, no, I don't want anything in return,
Right,
or
right,
you have multiple children, I'm here to assist with them for an hour or so, just to kind of give you some time with the new baby, if that's the case, to bond, or let me watch your children for you while you go and tend to yourself.
right.
Right,
Got,
right.
got.
And what we're doing now, we're working on now, is creating a postpartum support program that we're going to launch in August. We were recently awarded funding from the Center for Thriving Communities out of Jacksonville, Florida. And it was a host of four different community organizations that created one. and they gave out funding to 3 out of, I think, 27 or 28 applicants, and Melanin Mothers Meet was one of the three to get the funding. So the funding is specific to mental health. So we chose maternal mental health, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to reach the underserved populations in Leon County, which is mostly the 32304 zip code, and our mirroring neighbor, the Gaston County area. So we want to make sure that we have some form of gap filling within those two areas. And so we've had community listening sessions, and we've had focus groups, and these have allowed us to gather responses from moms who lived this stress, depressed, anxiety filled life, and then also moms who are just coming into experiencing these challenges and what they can do, and how we can assist them. And so what we're doing is we're getting all of those responses and to create a program that's replicable and sustainable, and that we can use this program over and over and over again anywhere in the world. So it'll be great to have Tallahassee support that, Gaston County support that, because
Right.
it's going to truly make a difference.
No, that's incredible, and I'm happy. Congratulations on getting funding to be able to provide those types of services, especially
Thank
Gaston County.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time in Gaston County doing outreach and providing services and resources. I live in the 32304 area code. Now, my area of 32304 may not be the most negatively impacted, but I grew up a street over from 32304, which
Right.
just so happened to be 32310. But they kind
Mm.
of all of the disparities converge over the
Right.
area codes, and
Right.
they have they moved the shelter in that area code as well. There's
Mm-hmm.
also the Hope House, and there are a lot of mothers in there as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of people within that area who could definitely use your services and be able to benefit from that. So
Yes.
I'm definitely happy that you got the funding because you're able to do more and help more. So and that's
Right.
always great.
Right. And the open doors to get more funding.
Right,
And
right.
that's why we need the help of the community. And we need to get our numbers up, and we need to get participants for the program. So it's really
Yep.
important for, partners, as far as maternal mental health, in the maternal mental health field, different lactation consultants, doulas. If you know of any of those people, midwives, obstetricians, pelvic floor therapists, childbirth educators, you name it, we need it. So if anybody's
Okay.
out there and they have those connections, please send that over to Melanin Mothers Meet m3@gmail.com. You can also find us on Melanin Mothers Meet underscore M3. That's on Instagram. And you can find us on Facebook at Melanin Mothers Meet M3, and myself, Mama Yata, on Facebook as well.
And all of that information is in the description for this video. So make sure y'all go in the description and click all those links and follow on all the platforms. So I do want to ask you about the pelvic floor therapist, the midwife, and the doula. I do want to ask you that, but I want to, because you brought up postpartum, so I want to go there first, then come back.
Okay.
Um, for a lot of us, we hear the term postpartum, and it depends on the context that we hear it in. We think we know what we're talking about, but a lot of times we may not really understand the totality of postpartum. Especially, I'm a man. I only,
Right.
I know what I know in theory, and theory only
Right.
goes so far.
Right.
So, can you explain to us what postpartum is and the postpartum period is? But what are some of the greatest challenges that women of color face when dealing with that postpartum period?
Sure. So when it comes to postpartum, you're thinking of after you have the baby. And a lot of times we're thinking that, oh, well, when the mom just had the baby recently. So maybe the baby's 3 months old, 3 days old. But what if the baby's 3 years old and mom is still dealing with postpartum challenges? And so a lot of those challenges can be, bouts of sadness, feeling isolated, maybe having baby blues, being worried or tired. And some women even go through not even wanting their baby anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead of looking at that as this is normal, this is regular, this is my everyday, it needs to be identified as this is not regular, this is not your everyday, and this needs to be, you need to be seen, you need help, you need assistance. And
Right.
so, what another thing that Melanin Mothers Meet also offers is training for the families, how to look out for moms who are going through maybe postpartum depression, those
Right.
that may feel isolated or overwhelmed or have anxiety. So those are, just different scenarios when it comes to postpartum. But it's necessary to understand that postpartum is any period after you have the baby. So even when we're talking to moms that have had children and their children are grown, I'll have jokes from moms that say, "Well, I'm still going through my postpartum. My child's 20 years old." Because a lot of times those things are not addressed, so they never get addressed, and so they just get suppressed and
Right.
buried.
Right. Right. And so that's why you use your postpartum task force to help those mothers in those situations, and and that's when y'all pulling up on people and helping them out. So I think that's
Right.
amazing, because it gives more context to what postpartum is from a um, biological chemical standpoint and what's happening in the body, but also so the support angle of we're actually here with you in the space, helping you go through this process and coaching you through this process rather than you getting it, via the internet or some other virtual means. So actually, the hands-on approach is healing.
Right, right. And what we've learned, with this task force and working, in this funding space, is that a lot of moms are not really familiar with the vocabulary. So we've even
Mm,
found moms that didn't even know what postpartum meant. And so now we have to back up and truly assess what it is that we're offering, and maybe even offer something more so in the awareness and educational part, because that's what M3 also offers. We do panels, we've done panel discussions, we've done workshops, seminars, conferences. We've done plenty of awareness and educational programs for moms and families, and it looks like we need to continue, because there are
gotcha.
still some gaps relating to, if a resource is telling you about what you're going through, but you don't know the language that they're using, then you don't have any understanding of what they're saying. And so that equals out to you still being in the same space you were in before the call. Because a lot of times the moms are not going to be truthful and say, "I don't know what that means." They'll just say,
Right.
"Okay, okay, yeah, sure," and then move on. And then they're still in the same space. But they don't want to tell
Right.
anybody because they, may feel a way about it. And we have to get away from that and actually get the help that we deserve. And not always, not just that we need it, but we deserve it. We deserve to know what's going on with our bodies. We deserve to know what postpartum is, what postpartum depression is. We deserve the support. We deserve to be able to speak up for ourselves and advocate for our needs.
Right. Sure do. Sure do. And we deserve to create those spaces and those platforms for ourselves to make sure we can get the voices out and get what we need for ourselves. So definitely. So you must be you we in sync with this one because I want to go into like the different workshops and seminars and the retreats that you offer. Like, give examples of some of the information and some of the lessons, or what was somebody experience at one of your workshops or seminars or your retreats?
Yeah, so it just really depends. Like I said, with M3, we try to cover all bases. We definitely want to cover health, education, spirituality, want to cover business and finance.
Mhm.
And these are the things, the pillars that we use to connect our workshops and seminars. So the city of Tallahassee awarded us two proclamations. So we have one proclamation for Black Maternal Health Week, which is April 11th through 17th every year. And then we also have a proclamation for Black Breastfeeding Week, which is August
Okay.
25th through 31st every year. So around those two different times, we'll usually have some type of series. This time for Black Maternal Health Week in April, we did a Black Maternal Health ceremony, and we also did a partner appreciation. So anybody who's ever worked with Melanin Mothers Meet, we did an appreciation dinner for them, and then we also did a Black Maternal Health ceremony, which kicked off our funding opportunity to allow different community members, moms, and other experts to understand what it is that we are actually doing and how they can assist.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Um,
so
so,
that's like one part.
but we're not. We got to go back to these proclamations because you said it all casually. We got to go back to these proclamations. You know. Okay. A Black Breastfeeding Week was one,
hmm
and what was the other again?
Black
Black
Maternal Health Week.
Black Maternal Health Week and Black
hmm
Breastfeeding Week. So, how did that happen? Like, what was the steps? What was the process? And what was after the proclamations were granted? What was your thought process? How did you celebrate this? How did you feel about that?
Well, with Black Maternal Health Week, that proclamation actually was spearheaded by my good sister friend, who was also a part of M3 in the inception of M3, um, Melanie Williams. And it was something that was recognized as important for our community to recognize due to the lack of support that Black moms receive in the maternal health birth outcome area. Um, a lot of our challenges and issues or they can be avoided. They can be avoided, but because we lack in cultural competency as healthcare providers, because Black women are more than likely to not be taken serious when they're in pain,
Hmm.
and then also Black women are to be celebrated, because if we are not focusing on Black women's mental health, then the children that come from this Black woman are not going to be secure in their mental health. And so it's just like a domino effect. So, one day I would love to just to kind of get everybody on board when it comes to connecting the dots of the loss in education for Black children, gun violence with Black children is all equal to maternal mental health. It starts with the mother. So once we start taking care of the mother again, then everything else will connect and thrive.
Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, those things are important because I believe every family, every member of the community is needed. Every member of the community is important. Every member of the community has a purpose. And that's just something we as a community have to remember and work together and put all the pieces together to help ourselves to better our communities, better our situations. But like you said, to create a better foundation for the children
Right.
because they need the best environments to be able to grow up
Exactly. And so who actually spearheaded the entirety, because we're getting it recognized in Tallahassee, but it's recognized in other states and cities. And it was originally spearheaded by the Black Mamas Matter Alliance.
in. Hmm.
And they, sparked the partnership project between the Center for Reproductive Rights and a few other organizations, and they were able to get it a proclamation done in DC. And so they kind of moved it, from there. Other organizations, spearheaded their own proclamation in their own cities to bring awareness first of all, that it even exists because of the maternal birth outcomes that, oh man, Black women are struggling to
Right.
increase better health outcomes, better birth health outcomes.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So with that being said, wanting to make sure Black women have better birth outcomes, it make me go back to the midwife and the doula. Um, could you explain what a midwife is, what a doula is, and their specific roles when it comes to helping the mother in the birthing process?
Yeah, so with midwives, they specifically provide prenatal and postnatal care for moms. So they care for the mom during the childbirth. They monitor, the mom and their labor and labor progress. They
Right.
manage the complications, and they help with pain management, which is really important. And then they're also able to, administer medicines, different things of that nature. So, midwife is a more medical provider. And with a doula is more so specific to the emotional support. So a doula can assist you with, just making sure that you're okay mentally. Being an advocate for you. Maybe if you're in the hospital and you need someone to speak up for you because you might be tired because you're going through a pregnancy, you're about to deliver a baby, you may need somebody to speak up for you. And that's where, doulas come in. There are also different types of doulas. You can have a full spectrum doula, which can help you and assist you, before conceiving, during your pregnancy, labor, delivery, and then afterward. Then you have ones that are specific for different parts of, areas that you may need help in. So maybe a fertility doula, that you may need help with getting pregnant, or you may have a doula that sees you after you've lost a baby. So you
Gotcha.
have different types, but they help to guide you through your labor, your birth, and your postpartum and beyond that. So a lot of doulas are getting creative, now that I see them these days, and helping moms even beyond what their description is, and that's really the help that's needed. And also, I wanted to just connect the fact that I do my best to say birth workers because the word doula does, is the word, it also means slave. And so, it's kind of hard to push that because doula is the word, that's the trend. Everybody's talking about it. So nobody wants to hear that that's, it means slave, but nobody wants to hear that. But you want to be, very intentional about the words that you use, language, and the words, they have power. So making sure that we are aware of these things.
Gotcha. Definitely. Definitely. And so you also mentioned the pelvic floor therapist. What is the pelvic floor therapist, and at what point would that be needed?
Yeah, so a lot of times for me, just experiencing my own births, I had both of my children medically unassisted at home. I didn't really have any issues or challenges or anything like that. But pelvic floor therapy helps, patients that may have problems with urinary frequency issues, constipation, urgency or pain in that space. And so what they do is they help you to relax that space because you just literally push the baby through. So, all of your organs, your whole body, your physiological body it has changed. And now you have to learn your new body and attempt to get it all put back together. And so a pelvic floor therapist kind of helps you with that. A lot of exercise in that space of your body, in that pelvic floor area, to help your muscles strengthen. Sometimes after you have children, you may start to have complications with holding, your urine. And so they help with strengthening that space, in your body up so that you can, be strong again, and not have leakages and things like that. But a lot of people don't know about pelvic floor therapy. So, it's really something that I would recommend. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to, start right after you have the baby. You can get yourself set up for a pelvic floor therapist, while you're pregnant. So definitely encourage the community to look into pelvic floor therapy and to see who the closest one is in our city.
Gotcha, gotcha. That definitely makes sense on just another way of taking care of your body, because like you say, you want to take the holistic approach, so make sure all of our body is taken care of and we have the resources to do it. So
Yeah.
what's the process for a mother or potential mother to get involved with M3 or either the postpartum task force? Like, how does one get involved? How does one find out? How does one just start to help or even reach out for help themselves?
Yeah, so I have a website. You can go to melaninmothersmeet.com. And on there, we have a contact us form, and you can fill that out. We also have a QR code that is on our Instagram as well as our Facebook that can be filled out, a survey that can be filled out to help us to contact you if you're interested in our task force or interested in becoming a part of M3 and in the whole. And we would love to get the community experts and community organizers to reach out if you want to be a part of this replicable, sustainable program that we're creating, and be a part of it, as in co-designing it or co-creating it. Those are options as well. We're also looking for lived experience moms who've been there, done that, to play a part in this as well. So our postpartum moms, if you are or have ever been sad, if you are overcoming or needing to overcome, some type of adversity, you're feeling overwhelmed, you lack support, you are feeling isolated, you have bouts of sadness, you have anxiety, and you don't know where to go, where to turn, and you're scared, you're afraid, then you need to reach out to Melanin Mothers Meet. If you have a 3-month old, 3-day old, or 3-year old, there are still some services that Melanin Mothers Meet can provide. Again, we do provide some form of connection with some type of childcare. We do have connections to create meals. There's a postpartum soup that I'm known for, that I create for my moms. And then also some type of cleaning or organizing for your home and training for the family, so that, your friend girl is not just over talking your head off, but she's actually in there folding up some clothes, washing some
Yeah,
dishes.
yeah,
Okay. And, your husband is not just, coming home and kicking his feet up and turning the TV on, but he's actually doing something specifically to make sure that your mental health is good at the end of the day, because you just push out a whole baby. So we want to make sure that those are connections that
yeah.
need to be connected.
He should be coming home making sure his house clean, whether the baby there or not. You supposed to keep a clean house, but that's another topic for another day.
Right, 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 right.
Yes, but no, of course, I've been able to witness you birth this project for yourself, this initiative, this movement, this passion of yours, being able to birth it and grow it. I remember from the inception, because when you talked about your first interest meeting, I remember the flyer from that and seeing it out. But seeing where you are now, you've been able to grow significantly, make a lot of progress, and impact a lot of people. The original goals that you've set for M3, have you reached those goals? And if so, like, how does it feel to know that this was an idea one day and now this is something realistic that's changing people's lives?
Wow, I'm just staying focused, because we are so very far from being finished. It's so much work to do. Um, actually, where we are now in maternal mental health is we are going backwards. We've gone backwards. And the
Yeah,
urgency is still there. There's still a war going on. And that's part of the reason why I didn't have my children in a hospital, because of the stigmas and the statistics. And I didn't want to be a statistic. So I wanted to make sure that I could also talk the talk and walk the walk. So now that I've done those things, I want to encourage other moms not to necessarily do what I did, but to speak up for themselves, to be confident in whatever decision that they want to make when it comes to having their children, and also knowing the resources that are available to them.
gotcha, gotcha. Nah, because it's amazing. I love to see people create things and grow them and watch them just get better over time, and especially family in our local Tallahasseans and because I one thing I do like about our generation is we are not sitting around waiting on other people to make the community better for us. We're actually individually using our talents and our skill sets to give back. And I am sometimes I like, man, I should have been born 20 years later, but we're right on time. But I just love the way our generation is pouring into the community, and you've been a big part of that, especially. And I'm looking out for the mothers in the community. So
Right.
thank you for what you do.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. Thank you.
so what's the future for M3? What's the future for you? What goals, visions, projects do you have for Melanin Mothers Meet moving into the future?
Um, well, the biggest thing on our plate right now, again, is the funding that we received from Center for Thriving Communities. Melanin Mothers Meet will specifically address the pressing mental health challenges faced by Black women during their postpartum period in underserved areas like the 32304 and the neighboring county of Gaston. And so the initiative aims to provide comprehensive support through a Melanin Mothers Meet task force, and overwhelming responsibilities of moms. We need to tailor it to the culture experiences of Black women. So we've identified challenges like again, isolation, lack of support, or they're reluctant to seek help. Okay, they are overwhelmed with responsibilities, and it contributes to heightening stress and mental health issues. So M3 wants to address these challenges with practical assistance like childcare and chores and cooking. And, this support aims to reduce the stressors and create an environment that's conducive to mental well being. So, in order to do that, we can't do it by ourselves. Okay. We
Yes.
need the community's assistance. And, being on platforms like this will help us to reach more people in the community. So, if you're hearing this and you have some form of assistance for us, please reach out. Melanin Mothers Meet m3@gmail.com. The core of our approach involves the task force to provide hands-on assistance to mothers for up to 8 weeks postpartum. So we are going to need volunteers. We're going to need people to come in and to assist us with this program. And we are trying to reduce the postpartum depression. We wanted to reduce isolation and other mental health challenges from those with lived experiences. And we want to host the many listening sessions, and we've done that. And we want to host focus groups, and we've done that. So now it's back to the community experts to talk to them about what are the gaps that you're, witnessing in your own practice, in your own field, and how can M3 help to fill those gaps.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It's gonna be a bright future. It's gonna be a bright
Oh
future
yeah,
for
oh
everybody who
yeah,
tapping
we
in.
are.
I'm
We're
encouraging people
definitely
tapping in.
ready.
Yes. Yes. I mean, these are things that you've built your skill set, you've built your mindset, you've built your passion. Everything's been built for you to take this take this movement and just impact as many people as possible, take it as far as possible, and just do big things with it. And I'm wishing you all the luck, all the success, get all the grants you can get, help all the mothers you can help, because
Yes,
we
thank you.
we we definitely need it for our community. Um, we want to make sure once again that our children are in a good space. They have good environments, healthy environments to grow up in, holistically healthy environments to grow up in, and that the mothers and the fathers in that space, but specifically the mothers, because they're the initial teachers of the children, that they're in healthy spaces themselves. So making sure that we support and do what we need to do. And so that's why it was a no-brainer to make sure to have you on here as a guest and make sure we help you get the word out. So
Thank
um,
you so much. I appreciate that. And just one more point to you speaking to the children. There's something that was created, I created called Principles of Problem Solving. So it's a curriculum for students. And so far, I teach 4 online classes to homeschool collectives in DC and
mhm.
Atlanta and around the United States. And we speak about solving our problems in our household, because if we can't solve the problems in our household, we can't solve the problems in the community. So I
Exactly.
teach the children how to solve those problems, teaching them how to stay calm, teaching them, how to determine their own outcome. And man, I also am teaching at a summer camp this year, or this summer as well, which will be my second year with them. And the children really are receiving it very well. And so I even started that because working with postpartum moms, you could see the multiple children kind of struggling with their own challenges because of a new baby. Whether this child is a young toddler or this child is in high school, those children are having their own struggles that they may not be able to express in words, because now the dynamics of the house is different. Their mom's attention is not as connected to them in that moment, and not because moms don't want to be connected to their children, but you have a new baby, things change. So pops comes in, principles of problem solving comes in to assist these children with overcoming adversity, resolving conflict, and achieving their own goals. Another part of M3.
I'm just saying, well, that's amazing. Like that's I love programs that are laid out and well laid out and have their things together and it's concise and because you know your program and you know it works and you have all this. That's why it flows so easily from you. And so that's a good indication that the passion is there, but the actual real work, the real experience, the hands-on stuff is there. So Melanin Mothers Meet. Make sure you go to the website at melaninmothersmeet.com and check out all of the resources, how you can get involved, stay involved, and get other people involved if you need to. Remember, all of the links to reach Mama Yata is in the description. So scroll down, get into that description, and click all those links. Follow her on all the platforms. I need to see when I scroll through Facebook. I need to see y'all. Make sure you're doing that. So like this video, share this video, get in the comments, ask your questions. If you have questions, ask your questions. I'll make sure she get them and she can answer them if you have them for her. And let's make sure we continue to promote the people that are from our community, within our community, continue to make our community better, because you know how Tallahassee, we lose talent. We lose a lot of talent. So let's make sure we nurture the talent that we have here so we can keep it here. So
Yeah.
Mama Yata, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate all of the mothers that are part of M3 who are pouring in their time and their efforts and their experience and their wisdom to make sure our community is a better place. MelaninMothersMeet.com. Be there. Be there or you're not cool, but be there.
There you go.
So,
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please reach out, melaninmothersmeet.com or Instagram at melaninmothersmeet_M3.
there you go. Hey, and let's support. Let's do what we need to do. Remember, this is Mind Your Body and Soul, the healthiest podcast that you have ever heard in your entire life. And our total goal is to make sure that we connect our community members to the resources in our community, even the people who are behind the resources, so we can get a greater impact and keep our talent in our community and keep making our community better in a realistic sense. I'm Joseph Ward. She's Mama Yata. We'll see y'all on the other side.
See ya. See ya.